how many of you have you read Sunday's FAQ part of Hindu newspaper? On Sunday, normally you will get a special page, no? Just a minute. Is it okay now? Let's check. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So how many of you have read the FAQ page of Sunday newspaper? If you are, just raise your hand, otherwise, no. Did anyone from online have you read? Did anyone? I think no one has read Sunday's FAQ page. But see, one reality I'll tell you. Hardly I can deal 30 or 40 or 50 topics. Remaining topics you have to learn on your own. You cannot go on depending on somebody to learn the current affairs. This is a fact. This is exactly the reality. If you start now onwards, then you will get a practice. And meanwhile, if you find any difficulty in understanding some of the issues, then we are here to explain. After that, even after writing 2 prelims, if you are still waiting for somebody's explanation to understand current affairs, then somewhere there is a problem with your understanding. So are you understanding what I'm trying to say? So somewhere you have to start now. Try to understand on your own. Okay, from whatever the available text. And I'm saying newspaper is the very, very important source for current affairs. And especially with respect to the mains. And if you continuously read Hindu newspaper, hardly I can say that maybe 4 or 5 questions it will be out of newspaper, but otherwise paper 3 and paper 2 you can completely do it from the newspaper. And part of the paper 1 also you can do it, because part of paper 1 includes history. And it will help you to write the paper 4 also. That's what I'm saying. So don't try to neglect newspaper. At least have a glimpse, and that too when I say Sunday you are getting important items you have to read. But anyone have a look at to that newspaper, if not read? Have you ever tried to see Sunday's newspaper? Okay. So what you got in that this FAQ page? We got something with respect to EWS. Do you know that there was an article on EWS? But you have not tried to read. Just you know that it is EWS. Have you tried? Have you tried? No. Have you tried to read it? Read it? Okay, just know it. Supreme Court has commented something on this EWS. Supreme Court has commented something on this EWS. The Supreme Court wanted the government to looking into the criteria of 8 lakh. Why you have fixed it? What is the rationale behind this? It's a simple statement given by the Supreme Court. But you need to know a lot of things in order to understand that statement. Why Supreme Court has said that 8 lakh should be reviewed? What is the problem? Should it be 10 lakh or should it be 5 lakh? Why the Supreme Court is asking? So you need to know all these things. Before that, you must know what is this EWS? What is this EWS? How many beneficiaries are there under EWS? Anyone is there? Achha, have you taken certificate? Okay. If you take certificate, then you will be eligible to get the quota of EWS. See, last week I have explained the affirmative action or reservation to the SCs, STs and OBCs. SCs and STs, it was mentioned in the constitution itself. That means whenever constitution has framed, with that intention only we have started from 1950. But the quota to the OBCs have started from Mandal implementation of 1991. 1990 actually it was implemented, came into effect from 1991. From then onwards, SCs and STs and OBCs are getting the benefits of reservation. There was a Constitution Amendment Act called 103. 103. Last time we have discussed 102 and 105. Now this is 103. We have amended the Constitution 103rd time in the year 2019. In the year 2019, to bring economically weaker sections of general category students under the purview of reservation. Economically weaker sections of general category students. Here you need to know some things. When it comes to the SC and ST, that means scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, when it comes to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, irrespective of their economic status, again here I am not discussing the relevance of reservations. I'm only going through the process because that requires a different type of discussion. I'm not getting into the details, but when it comes to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, irrespective of their economic criteria, because in the Constitution there is no economic criteria at all. I have already given socially and educationally backward classes. Irrespective of their economic status, all the SCs and all the STs are considered as socially and educationally backward classes, and everyone is eligible to get the benefit of reservation under Article 16 and if any provision made under Article 15. But whereas when it comes to the OBCs, there is a concept called creamy layer. If you are belonging to an OBC category, automatically you don't get the benefit of reservation. In the OBC category, you must belong to the non-creamy layer. Non-creamy layer in the sense, you must be economically weaker. The overall condition is social and educational, but under socially and educationally backwardness, if at all you want a benefit for the OBCs, you have to be economically weaker. If you are economically stronger, then you are not supposed to get the benefit of this OBC. And why this point has made under OBC is, OBCs to some extent, they are forward in the society. Some of the people has already enjoyed the benefits of the development. If we allow these rich people in the OBC section to get the benefits of reservation, then the poorer sections in the OBC will get a disadvantage, because it's 27%. Out of 100 seats, 27 must be reserved for the OBCs. Suppose if really the OBCs are competing at that 50% normal level and 27% at OBC level, then where the poor OBC will fight. That is the point. That is the reason why we said, like, if at all you want to get the benefit of OBC, then you have to be economically weaker. And how will you decide you are economically weaker? If your annual income is less than 8 lakh rupees, then you will be considered as an economically weaker. Otherwise, you will be economically stronger, so you don't get the benefit of reservation. For getting the OBC reservation, you have to submit non-creamy layer certificate. I don't know how many are OBCs and whether you have ready with your, have you ever submitted that non-creamy layer or not, but you have to submit. Now, in the year 2019, there was a constitution amendment. What that constitution amendment says? Constitution amendment says that they have amended the Article 15 and Article 16. They said, along with the socially and educationally backward classes, for the economically weaker sections also, government can provide some sort of affirmative action, both in terms of policy, educational institutions, and as well as public employment. That means what were the provisions earlier applied to the SCs, STs, and not SCs and STs and OBCs, but socially and educationally backward classes, whatever we have mentioned in the constitution, now we have added another criteria called economically weaker sections. Economically weaker sections. Because under socially, educationally backward classes, you cannot add these general category students or the general category people. Because if at all you want to give the reservation under that particular thing, then it is very difficult to prove their backwardness, because backwardness in India has proved only through the caste, only through the caste. And when President of India already decided that some of the castes are under SCs, some of the castes are under STs, some of the castes are under OBCs, now how can you give the general category students under the socially and educationally backward category? It's not possible. It's not possible, because they are not socially, educationally backward, because that's what their caste says. Then immediately you may ask, sir, if we really remove the caste from the general category and if you include it in the OBC or SC and ST, can we do it? Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. If really you do that, if you really able to bring that thing to SCs and STs and OBCs, you can do that. But the problem is, who has to do that? Who has to do that? If it is SCs and STs, Parliament of India can only do that amendment. And if it is OBCs, earlier case, National Backward Commission has to give the recommendation. But it's not a simple addition. It's not a simple addition. There must be a commission. There must be a commission, and commission must study their socially and educationally backwardness. Commission must support, commission must recommend it for that. Commission means, I have said, it will do judicial functions. And in the year 2004, in the year 2013, no, not 13, 14, prior to that elections, Narendra Modi became the prime minister. Prior to that, the then Congress government has included Jats under OBC. Jats under OBC. Jats are some dominant caste in Haryana. Jats are under OBC. Then immediately Supreme Court has struck down it. No, you can't do. You can't do. Because there is no proper backwardness. You haven't proven. You haven't proven proper backwardness. That is the reason why you are not supposed to do that. So if you really study the socially and educational backwardness, these general category students cannot come under the definition. They may be individually weaker. Their family may be individually weaker. In that particular village, these caste people may be weaker. But the studies can only be proven at the overall level. Suppose I'm taking a caste Brahmins. Suppose in a poor village, a poor Brahmin can be socially weaker, economically weaker, and he's living a lenient life. But they will only study at the higher level. How the Brahmins are performing. That is how they will study. So it is not that easy to add the general category students or the general category caste into these OBCs and SCs and STs. Now, there were serious demands from the general category students or the general category caste that there are some backward people in these forward castes also. You must give reservation to them. That was the demand. But many times this demand was not supported by the Supreme Court of India, because the Supreme Court's argument is, the philosophy with which we have enshrined the system of affirmative action in the Constitution is purely on socially and educational basis, not on economic basis. Not on economic basis. There are some other schemes that the government is implementing which are poverty alleviation schemes. Take the case of your PDS. Take the case of your Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Take the case of Mudra Yojana. Take the case of other schemes. Is there any reservation to anybody? No, it is applicable to all. So that is a poverty alleviation scheme. That is for the economic development. For that there is no reservation. But when it comes to the reservations in the educational institutions and as well as the public employment, the purpose is not to strengthen them economically, but the purpose is to bring them equally along with all the people in social aspect and educational aspect. Suppose last week, I think, I don't know whether I have mentioned it or not. If you have a public office or if you have something, then you must have an equal representation of everybody. Equal representation of everybody means, what does it mean, everybody? Is it from every village? Is it from every state? Is it from every the gender? No, it is from every caste. That is what exactly the philosophy that we have developed in India. Unfortunately, caste system, India is a caste society, and from long 2000 years, we are having that caste system. And we have made that caste as a prime identity, and based on that, we are giving the reservations. And over a period of times, whenever such type of demand comes, Supreme Court said nothing doing. I don't allow the reservations under economic category because the constitution says that only reservations are possible, or the reservation word not used in the constitution. The affirmative action can only be possible under the socially and educational backwardness. This is what exactly Supreme Court said. Now, what government has thought is, okay, the constitution is not permitting. Let amend the constitution. Because who is the Supreme Court? Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the constitution. Supreme Court is the final protector of the constitution. This bit has came in the prelims. I don't know in which year. Who is the protector of the constitution? President, Parliament, Prime Minister, Supreme Court. Simple question. I don't know now we can expect such questions or not. But who is the protector of the constitution? Supreme Court. If constitution is violated, where you will get the remedy? The Supreme Court. President of India cannot give the remedy to the violation of the constitution. The Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the constitution. Supreme Court is the final protector of the constitution. Supreme Court, after all, it can interpret the constitution. It cannot inject its own ideas into the constitution. Maybe they will interpret it. But when the constitution is so clear that reservations are not possible on the economic basis, then these people started amending the constitution. That is how they have amended the constitution on 103, and they have added this economic criteria to that. Economic criteria to that. There are a lot of opposition, but government of India simply passed one in Lok Sabha, one day in Lok Sabha, one day in Rajya Sabha. I think now you are aware how they are passing. Even if they want to pass or even if they want to repeal, simply it is happening because they are having the majority. You can't do it. It's not. Is it a good thing? No, it's not at all good thing. You may get a question. Debates are not happening in the parliament. Even though you are having the majority, the beauty of democracy is, see, in the democracy, you will be ruled only if you have a majority. But the spirit of democracy will be flourished only if you hear to these minority voices. That is what exactly democracy is about. Democracy have its own definitions. One of the definition is the minorities must be heard. That is what exactly the spirit of democracy. But anyhow, they are doing ruckus and these people don't want to listen. They are creating, but whatever it may be, according to theory, minority people's voice must be heard. That is what exactly the true spirit of democracy. Anyhow, they have passed it. But there are some serious questions. Because the case is already pending in the Supreme Court. Apart from this court, there is another case is also pending. Those who challenged this 103rd Constitution Amendment Act. See, there are already judgments in the country, which maybe you will read while you are going through the polity. The Parliament of India cannot amend the Constitution in whatever way it wants. Who will amend the Constitution? Parliament. Parliament have that power. But Parliament cannot amend in whatever way it wants. So the full amending power, the constitutional amendment power of the Parliament is limited, but not absolute. You will study this point in polity. Whatever it wants, it cannot do. Then what are the parameters that it must consider before amending the Parliament, before amending the Constitution? There was a word called basic structure. Basic structure. How many of you completed this basic structure part of polity? Just raise your hands. One. Only one? Okay, some people. Okay, basic structure. They can understand little. Basic structure. In the 1973 Keshavananda Bharati case, Supreme Court has said this basic structure. What does it mean? It means it has defined some principles. And in Polity Lakshmikant textbook, you can find out all the principles. Before you amend the Constitution, just check whether your constitutional amendment is within the purview of these ideals. If it really crossing these ideals, then your amendment is not valid. Supreme Court is going to struck down it. Though you have the majority, you cannot have an absolute power to amend the constitution. One among the basic structure is equality. There are many principles are there, but one principle is equality. Why equality matters, I'll come to that point. But anyhow, Supreme Court, Parliament of India has amended the constitution. 1/3 Constitution Amendment Act is there now. But some people are saying this is against the basic structure of the constitution, then Supreme Court has to struck down it. Whether Supreme Court will really struck down it or not, it's a different story, but there are some arguments. Why it has to struck down? Why it has to struck down? And again, there was a ruling by the Supreme Court last week also, I just give a reference. The total reservations in this country should not be more than 50%. Should not be more than 50%. It was mentioned in 1962, 1992 Indira Sahani case, Ram Singh case, many cases. Even today, Supreme Court is stick to that point that whether you give it to the SCs, STs, OBCs, transgenders, whoever it may be, but it should not cross 50. If it crosses 50, then there is no open competition. At least half of the seats must be open to all. That's what Supreme Court has thought. Now, if you give these reservations, the entire cap is becoming beyond 50. Because it's 27, 6.5. What is the percentage for SCs? Some 7, like this. So when you're looking into this overall reservations, it's close to 49 or 48. Now under 103 Constitution Amendment, what we have said is, they will be provide reservations up to 10%. Up to, why they said up to 10%? Suppose take the case of Kerala. Just assume the general category people are of only 5% in the population. Can I give 10% reservation to them? Is it valid? No. But up to 10% means, okay, based on population, you can give it to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it may be. Up to 10% you can give. But if you give up to 10%, it will be crossing 50%. It will be crossing 50%. If it crosses 50%, then it is a violation of the Supreme Court judgment. Then it's a violation of the Supreme Court judgment. Then either you have to reduce the OBCs and SCs and STs, you have to accommodate these people. This is one technical error or a technical thing that may come in the way of this OBC reservation. First point. Second point. If you really bring equality in the society, initially you thought or you identified social backwardness and educational backwardness as a backwardness, and you thought that if I able to bring them socially equal and educationally equal, I can bring an equality in this country. But later demand has risen that you should not only consider social and educational, economic backwardness is also a backwardness. As long as economic backwardness is there, you cannot make the people equal. So please consider economic backwardness is also a backwardness and try to provide the reservations. But tomorrow, is there any guarantee that the regional inequality is also an inequality? If at all you want to bring the everyone in this country equal, you must provide regional reservations also, or local reservations. Tomorrow you may think that if a person is having 20 years and if a person is having 22 years, if both are studying at the same standard, the person of 20 years age must also be given reservations, because this is also a type of inequality. So any inequality can be questioned, but what type of inequality that you are considering is important. Till now we have considered educational and social, but we are bringing some more other parameters into this equality, and we may bring much more things. But what Supreme Court exactly going to pronounce on this issue, we don't know. But the point is, if you really allow for the economic equality, tomorrow there may be a question of other inequalities also. But to what extent we can bring the equality in the society, that's a different story, that's a different debate. I'm not getting into that. Whether through this reservation we can really we can bring the equality, that's a different debate. I'm not getting into that. But the entire thing to the Article 15 and 16 is we need to make them equal. For that, we are identifying some sort of inequalities and we are giving some sort of benefits. In the past 75 years, actually, we should have removed some sort of inequalities, but unfortunately, we are adding more and more inequalities to that list. Are we heading to an equal society? Or are we heading to an unequal society? That's what we need to question first. Because some states, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, they have passed the legislation for the local reservations. When I say whether reservation is a really suitable instrument or not, that's a different story. But the point is, when you are go on adding an exception to this equality list, are we really moving towards the equal society or are we really moving towards the unequal society? First question. Then immediately there is a counter argument that there are inequalities. Unfortunately, if you are so blind enough to see that inequalities, how can you bring the equality in this system? And Ambedkar thought that maybe social and educational inequality itself is inequality. He never thought of economic equality. Come to the village and see how these economically weaker people are suffering. And if you don't want to identify this inequality as an inequality, then I can't help. If the people from Idukki are so backward than the other districts of the Kerala, and if I don't want to identify that inequality, how can I really make the Idukki people so equivalent to the other parts of the Kerala? No, I'm just taking a reference. Someone told me like Idukki is some backward district. I don't know whether it is correct or not. Is it? No. Someone told me like it is a backward district. Is it so? To some extent. So the point is, on the one hand, you can argue. So last year the students told me like Idukki is some backward. Okay, don't take otherwise if the figures are wrong. But anyhow, see, on the one hand, if I go on adding the exemption to the equality, we are saying like, okay, are we heading to the equality or inequality? On the other hand, if I don't recognize such an inequality, simply I always confine to the one ideal. I cannot bring equality at any time in this country because I'm so blind to the inequalities. This is a contrast that you will really get. But answer to this question, I am not in a position to answer to all these questions because in the thought process, I have got all these things. But only I can say that instead of arguing to whom reservations we can give and to whom reservations we cannot given, perhaps maybe if we start debating now, maybe in the 20 years or 30 years, the country will realize, is there any other better instrument than the reservation to bring the equality? If our goal is equality. Because in the 1947, we thought that we can bring the equality only through this reservation concept, but we have moved ahead of 75 years. But can't we think of any other new idea when this idea itself is creating a lot of problems? That is what we need to have a serious think. But how the Supreme Court is going to rule on this entire aspect, we don't know. It is only our analysis. We don't know how they are going to really looking into this aspect. Are they consider economic weakness, economic backwardness is also backward? Then immediately after 2 days or 3 days, someone will file another case with another inequality. But suppose if the Supreme Court structs it down, then how the governments are going to think and how the society really thinks. So it's again different debates. It's all based on Supreme Court. But okay, whether the Supreme Court accepts it or not, rejects it, that's a different story because I've given that angle. But just I want to say that there are two problems. One is technically it is crossing 50%. Second one is the criteria itself is whether accepted by the Supreme Court or not. Okay, forget about that. Now I'll come to the law. Again, when I say economically weaker sections means economically who are weaker in forward caste, they are getting the benefit of reservation. Now again for that they have frame some rules and regulations. I'm not getting into all the rules and regulations which are not important for us. If you own some acres of land, if you own some area of land in urban area, like they have given. But one criteria is your annual income must be less than 8 lakh. Annual income must be less than 8 lakh. Now, if you're looking into the OBCs, in the OBCs also, the annual criteria is 8 lakh. In the EWS also, it is 8 lakh. That means now we are making an economically weaker backward classes to the economically weaker forward caste person. Then what is the sanctity to this socially and educationally backwardness when you are making everyone equal? Did you get the point? The OBC candidate or the OBC person backwardness, now you have made equal to the forward caste backwardness. That means both are equal now. Both are equal now. This is not at all acceptable. You know that the social inequalities are still persistent in this country. You know that the society is unequal. You know that you are adding some more equality. When you are bringing the whenever you are bringing the other criteria into this existing system like economic criteria, in that process you are making general caste category students as more backward and the backward class students as more forward. That means, are you really want to change this entire backward criteria to the economy instead of the social and educational status? We don't know. But the point is, because of your limit of 8 lakh, now the OBC and EWS, that means OBC and general, both are came to the same level. And if I want to give an example, if you just see the cutoff of UPSC for last 2 years, and I cannot say whether it is fortunate or unfortunate, but the cutoff of the OBC is higher than the general category students. This is what exactly went to the Supreme Court in case of NEET exam. Because some students are lost. Because we are OBC, the students who are getting the benefit under EWS, they are, even though when they gain less marks, they are getting the seats. But unfortunately, we are not. That is why they went to the Supreme Court for the NEET case. It's not about marks, it's all about equality. But there is another argument. If you read Hindu newspapers again, no, actually general category people don't have any idea about this EWS category. Less people are applying for this because most of the people are not holding the certificate. That is the reason why when the members applied are very less, obviously, maybe suppose let it be in OBC 1000 people are applied, in general category only 50 people are applied, you have to fill 10%. For that, even if you get 60 marks or 40 marks or 30 marks, you have to fill. That is what they are saying. The question is not about the marks, but the question is about your criteria. Whenever you are considering a person as a backward person, there is already backward people in this country, and you want to make that backward people into forward, and you want to add this new people and they are becoming much more backward. That is unscientific, because our entire reservation system or the positive affirmation system is purely based on initially socially and educationally backwardness. So that is exactly the point. And Supreme Court has asked, Supreme Court has not compared this OBCs and general, but Supreme Court simply asked, what is this 8 lakh? How you have decided this 8 lakh? Is there any survey? Is there any report? Is this 8 lakh for both urban and rural? If this 8 lakh is same for urban and rural, then you are discriminating the EWS people itself. Because the urban areas EWS person is somewhat more forward than rural area EWS category candidate. So that means they haven't studied any scientific, they haven't followed any scientific criteria while they are dealing with this 8 lakh. Simply because there is an aspiration among the people, you have made the law and you have framed the rule and you have started implementing it. Now the case is because of NEET students, now the Supreme Court has asked what is the rationale behind fixing this 8 lakh. And immediately, I think 2 days or 3 days back, if you see the Hindu newspaper, they said Ministry of Social Justice, because reservations are comes under Ministry of Social Justice, and they have constituted a committee, 3-member committee. Now they are going to study all these things, and finally they will fix this 8 lakh. Whether it is 8 or whether it has to be a differentiated thing, whether it is 3 lakh for urban and maybe 6 lakh for rural, or whether it is again a uniform rate, we don't know. But it's not the question of 8 or 4 or 5, but it's the question of how you are deciding the equality criteria. And in that equality, again, a question I can pose, can an educational equality or can a social equality is more unequal than educational inequality? Because when I say unequal, everyone is unequal. Suppose I'll tell you, I am belonging to a particular, let us assume, scheduled caste category, and you are from general category, and you are from OBC category. So the inequality between the caste people is more than inequality between the economic criteria people. Can that inequality be defined? Suppose there are 2 general category students, and there is an OBC. Here inequality is more, here inequality is less. Can you define inequality like that? Maybe you may say that answer, yes, it is correct, because it is a different caste, no, they are more unequal. Same caste, no, they are equal. But can an inequality have such an exception? Inequality is inequality. These are all questions. I think you don't, I don't know how you will use this knowledge while writing the answers, but you have to use somewhere. You have to use somewhere. That is why I'm giving this information. You cannot simply take the points from Vision or somebody and you cannot make it. It's not that easy. But can inequality have such exemptions? When inequality is inequality. So these are all the questions that are going to come. Maybe in the coming days, definitely you are going to study all these things, because this is only about this, but the constitutional validity of 103rd Constitution Amendment, maybe I don't know when it will come to the in front of Supreme Court, but definitely then all these arguments will come. Then you have to be ready to understand and try to, if you have any alternative solution, just you can think on it. You can quote appropriately wherever it is possible, because from society also some questions may get, in paper 2 also you may get some questions, or otherwise you can use it in essay also. If you really use this type of knowledge in essay, your essay will be so good and you will get good marks. And moreover, it's not about paper 1, paper 2 essay, but you as a responsible citizens must have some sort of idea about this society. Okay, it's all about matter about essay, paper 1, paper 2, but it is bigger than paper 2, paper 1 and essay. You must understand what is happening, the social realities, because we are here to bring some changes to the society. We are here to contribute some value to the society. And you need to understand the realities of the society. And when only you understand, then only you can really solve it. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay. Now, this is what exactly the Supreme Court has asked about. This is what exactly the Supreme Court has asked about. And this economic criteria, whether it is really we are going to, they are going to uphold it or not, I don't know. I don't know. But that is what 103rd Constitution Amendment Act. Some people see, because why actually they have amended? Because the Supreme Court already said that it is not permitted. Supreme Court already said that it is not permitted. That is why we have amended. But the amended thing will again bringing a lot of questions. That is the reason why this constitutional validity is also questioned in the Supreme Court. Okay, is it clear for you? Is it okay? Still, you are having any? Yeah.
So if I belong to the OBC and I'm not showing that I'm OBC, and by status, if I'm EWS, will I get the reservation according to EWS?
Achha, you don't want to use the reservation under OBC, you want to use the reservation under EWS category. So you don't want to show your, I think, see the point here is, I don't know, because it's a legal question, Supreme Court has to answer or other judiciary has to answer. But whatever the limited knowledge that I have, I'm thinking, when you don't want to show yourself as an OBC means you don't want to reveal your caste. When you say you don't want to reveal the caste, how will you reveal your caste in general category? Because in general category benefit also, you have to reveal your caste name. And when your caste name comes under OBC list, can you really use the general category benefit or not? It's a question mark.
Okay, sir.
Any specific doubts? Are you understanding everything, or because if you don't ask the doubt, no, sometimes I'll get doubt whether you people are able to understand or not. Is it clear? Just go and anyway you're all having mobiles, no? Just looking into that whatever the Hindu article of Sunday, and again you just try to read. That article may not give this much detailed information, but at least you will understand what the Supreme Court has said and what was the thing that was proposed by the supporter of this EWS. Maybe in the next class I'll try to deal about that UPA Act, because nowadays you are getting in UPA, the questions on UPA was also asked. I'll take about UPA. And how many are following that African Tigray region? Do you know that there is a region called Tigray in Africa, and a war between Ethiopia and Eritrea is happening? First of all, how many of you are reading newspapers regularly? Just raise your hands. Just raising hand means like this. It's not like, just raise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 people. Why you don't want to read the newspapers? You have to read newspaper. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Very difficult. Tell me, believe me. Because you can't see, maybe you are attending for the classes for 500 hours or 600 hours. But the whatever the knowledge that you are gaining, again, a limited knowledge. You have to be always in touch with what is happening. How many of you are following the current parliament sessions? Do you know the Parliament of India is now discussing something? Do you know how many houses are there in Parliament? How many houses are there in the Parliament? Is it something like an assembly of like this, or is there any different houses? 2 houses. What are they? Who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? What is his name? Venkaiah Naidu. And what was the bill that was recently passed in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha? Dam safety bill was passed in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha. If you just know, I have given to some of the students at 9 o'clock, you will get news at 9 in All India Radio. Or otherwise, even if you take any regional or English channel, they will give half an hour bulletin. Try to spend half an hour, and what is happening, you will came to know. How many Omicron cases are reported in India?
2.
Okay. So, and what was the bill that was passed in Lok Sabha? ART means? Assistive Reproduction Technology Act. It's not an amendment, it's an original act. Last year it was introduced, but this time they have taken. So the point is, minimum things what are happening. See, you cannot always be gauge yourself with whether I can get any mark from the parliament proceeding. Otherwise, no one can give you the exact source from where you will get the questions. Believe me, if really someone says like, if you read Lakshmikant, you can answer everything, then that is a foolish thing. So no one can say exact source, but we can have a probability. Yes, you may get some questions from here. But moreover, what is happening, which are highly important. I'm not saying like if someone killed in Haryana, you don't need to know the biodata of that guy. But at the administrative level, what is happening, you must have a minimum idea. Okay. And I think for some of the students, I told you, like if you are following, if you just spend 1 hour, 1.5 hours, if you find in the evening, just looking into the proceedings of the houses, lot of things you can understand. You can understand what is question hour. You can understand what is 0 hour. You can understand what is special mention. You can understand what is point of order. Otherwise, you have to read in the polity textbook and you cannot understand it. And meanwhile, finance minister comes with some supplementary grants. And then you will understand what is the supplementary grants. Some people say adjournment motion. Speaker rejects it. Otherwise, you have to read. And in Rajya Sabha, you don't find that adjournment motion. Why Lok Sabha people are giving? Why not Rajya Sabha people are giving? So you can understand it practically. These are all important from your, and there are some committees. You will get a reference of parliamentary committees. This committee has submitted this report, then immediately you will understand what is this committee. There is a reference of joint parliamentary committee. There is a reference of bill pending in so and so house. That means you can understand a lot of technical jargons. They are all important. They are all important. Maybe you may not complete the polity, but I don't think so that even after completion of polity, you will get complete grip over all these things. It is very difficult. It's not that easy. So whenever it is happening, whenever something is happening, in the context, you need to read the text. In the context, you need to read the text. Otherwise, we cannot remember everything what we are reading. It's very difficult. But if you read it in a particular context, then we can remember it. Context will add a lot of value to the text. And if you go on reading the text, then it is to some extent very difficult. See, if today's class, vaccine class, suppose if there is no coronavirus, if there is no pandemic, if I explain, you will think that why this useless fellow is teaching all these things. We don't understand these genes and genetics. But there is a context here. There is a mutation. That is why you can understand clearly. Otherwise, it is very difficult for the students who had took coaching in 2018 and 17 to understand what exactly the vaccine. They may not be so interested in understanding what is gene mutation, because there is a context. That context is demanding you to read or to understand. So try to look for the context. Whenever context comes, try to read the text in that context. And don't take it as it is. Try to question. Try to question. If you don't question, you cannot explore anything. The only success mantra to gain the knowledge is question. Read statement, question it, you will get the answer. Again, question the answer. Again, try to find the answer. Again, try to question the answer. This questioning and answering will give you a lot of information. But if you simply take what they have written or what they have said, then it is very difficult. Okay? And I hope you people are maintaining a notes for current affairs, because don't depending completely on some of the magazines. Magazines will publish what they want. But what you are learning from your daily life, what extra thing that you got, just make a note of it. Because I don't think I have to come to you and I have to check your notes, what you have written. Is it all really required? No, it's not required. You have to do. You have to do. And how come I know that you are maintaining all these things? When I simply ask, have you read newspaper? If you say yes, then I can understand you people are following. If I ask what was mentioned on the article, and if you say something, then I can understand like you people are reading. That is the only way through which I can really gauge you. Otherwise, I cannot come to you and I cannot looking into how you are making and why you haven't mentioned this point and that point. This is not the thing. But try to follow it, because you will learn a lot of things, and try to enjoy the subject, because it gives a lot of value to your life. I'm not simply saying about this exam, paper 1, paper 2, prelims, mains. This knowledge will add a lot of value to your life, and you are so fortunate compared to your peers or other people, because you are here and you are learning a lot of things. Okay, so don't underestimate yourself, and no, don't confine yourself to, okay, I will read only this and I will read only that. Okay. So I think today how many topics I covered? This technology, vaccine technology, COP26, FCRA, EWS reservation. I think the remaining topics, whatever the topics, I'll try to explain in the next class. But I hope you are getting something out of this, and whatever the information that you got, just try to make it as a essay and try to write somewhere and make it as a note. See, I may say many things, what you understood out of this. Just try to write on technology related to essay. Okay, this is coronavirus, so and so technology, this and this vaccine, and this vaccine. Because why I'm giving all these things is, if you really looks into the note which has written by you, you can recollect everything. But whenever it requires, again, if you go on searching for what is Covaxin, what is Covishield, it takes a lot of your time. It takes a lot of your time. But if you make a note of it, no, because you will write in a language which you can understand. So that will help a lot. It may be a complex topic today, but you just write, okay, you may draw the diagrams or you may put symbols, you may write something in a language which you can understand. The moment you will get a doubt about one earth, just open, see it. Okay. The moment if you get a doubt in vaccine technology, if you just go and see, you can recollect everything. That is the smart way of doing the things. Otherwise, if you simply listen like a story, or if you just watch like a movie, and later it is very difficult to recall. It's not for you, it's for me also. Even I'm teaching this much, but after 1 or 1.5 years, if you really ask me about technology, if I repeat for some other students, I may remember, but otherwise it is difficult for me also. Because we need to make a note. If you're really looking into that note, then definitely you can recollect. Because you are going to learn many things. Everything it's not possible to remember, but somewhere you need to make a note and try to looking it whenever you will get some doubt. Okay. So is there any doubts from this today's session? Last 4 topics? No doubts? So shall I wind up the session then? Okay, because I want to take one more topic because I cannot complete in 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. So anyway, we'll meet you in the next class then.
Amrita IAS Academy.